We're still in the story of Yosef. Now the brothers come searching for Yosef. It's in Sefer Ha-Aggadah, page 40. So the story by itself, when you look in Tanakh, is one of the most fascinating stories that we have in the Bible, of Yosef being taken away from his father, thrown to the pit, then going to Egypt, thrown to jail, coming out, becoming viceroy. His brothers come looking for him. He accuses them of being spies. It's a very intriguing and juicy story. It's obviously the rabbis added elements to it because they wanted to enhance the story. So here we have an interesting interpretation of the. It came in as an answer to the question. The pasuk says, "Vayirdu ahei Yosef Mitzrayim lishbur bar," that Yosef's brothers came to Egypt, and they were brought to Yosef, and he accused them as being spies. So, but the Torah doesn't say how did he know that they were there, or did he have an argument against them to say, did he have a proof to say they're spies, or just an accusation with no proof and unsubstantiated. So if you look at the pshat, the possibility is that just you have a large group that Yosef commanded his guards. When you see people coming from Canaan, ask for their names, because this is a country that was not in peaceful relationships with Egypt, which also explains other parts of the story. But he told them, if you see people coming from Canaan, especially if it's a large group, let me know who they are. So eventually they come. That's one possibility. Or another possibility, that we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of people, as we sometimes think. It could have been that, the numbers of people in the area were maybe the whole region, 10,000 or 20,000. And so when you have people coming to Egypt, they are representatives. So maybe 1,000 came all together. So Yosef has personal interview. He's the one who interviews them one by one, which would make more sense, because if Yosef tells his guards, look for particular people, he's putting himself under suspicion. So more probably they come and stand in front of him, and then he accuses them because he knows who they are. They didn't change much. Meanwhile, he is dressed as an Egyptian ruler, shaved. We know they didn't. The Egyptians shaved their beard. And also, besides that, he was not only that he was 17 and now he's 30 something. No. That's so. The Midrash says Hatimat Zakan. He has a beard, but actually, again, if you look at all the pictures of, he did not have a beard, because the Egyptians, as a rule, shaved their beard. So he could not have.
No, but look at John. Look at John.
No, I know that you say that, but you say as a young kid he didn't have a beard and now he does. But from all the pictures that we have from the time of the pharaohs, it's clear that the Egyptians did not grow a beard. But in any case, the main reason that they did not recognize him is because they did not expect to see him there. It's a completely different context. They have no idea, even if he has some similarities, subconsciously they push it away because they say it cannot be him, right? So anyway, they come there, and now look what the Midrash says. Amar Rabbi Yehuda bar Simon. Is it from Morocco? Or Ben Simon? No, it's his father was called Simon because under Greek influence, people gave their children, Greek names. So Simon, Marinus, Alexandri, all kind of names. Anyway, he says the following: Af Yosef היה יודע שאחיו יורדים למצרים לשבור אוכל, מה עשה? הושיב שומרים על כל הפתחים ואמר להם, ראו, כל מי שייכנס לשבור אוכל, כתבו שמו ושם אביו, ולערב הביאו לפתחכם. So Yosef, to answer the question of, he doesn't want to cast suspicion on himself, so he tells the guards, I want you to keep track of everyone who comes to Egypt, write their name and their father's name, and bring it to me at night. So like a modern, what today would be the INS, or the border border control when you come to a country. So already back then, this is the first description that we have. Of course, it comes from from biblical times, not biblical, from the time of the rabbis. But basically, he says, I want to keep track of all the people who come to Egypt, their names, their father's name. They bring him the notes at night, and he looks at registration, and he sees that he has the names of all the sons of Yaakov, Reuven ben Yaakov, Shimon ben Yaakov, but each one of them entered through a different gate. So he says, Yosef says, okay, now I want you to seal all the granaries, because now how is he going to know which storage they will go to ask for food? So he said, I want everybody to be directed to one distribution center when they're going to get their wheat. But 3 days passed and they don't show up. נתן יוסף גיבורים ושיגר לבקשם פסוק ונתן סימנים עליהם. So now he's sending a search party, and they go from one marketplace to another. הלכו ומצאו אותם בשוק של זונות. יוצאים משוק זה לשוק זה. They found them. Again, this is the Midrash is being very descriptive and very intriguing. This is a way to get them interested in the story. So it's not just, the brothers came to the palace. They disappear. They come to 10 different gates. They disappear in Egypt. Yosef goes searching for them. You find them in the red quarter, right?
Red light district.
The red light district. So they go right, Pigal. So they go from one place to another, and they grab them all, and he brings them to Yosef, and why did they go to different places and to that location? Because they said Yosef was a handsome man. Maybe they sold him as a sexual slave to one of these places. And now they come to Yosef. Vayitnaker alehem na'asa lahem kenochri. So here's an interesting wordplay in Hebrew in the Tanakh. The word lehakir in Hebrew is to know, to acknowledge another person. Lehakir. Leitnaker is the reflexive, but it's the opposite. To make yourself unknown. From the word nochri, foreign.
What's the continuation?
Vehem lo ikiru. So he became unknown to them, and they did not recognize him. But this is the pshat, how it's written. But the message is that here you have a continuation of what happened before. When he came to them the first time as a brother, and they did not acknowledge the fraternity and the brotherhood, they took him and threw him into the pit. So now this wheel has reversed, and now they stand in front of him, and he does not acknowledge that he is their brother. So it's measure for measure. Exactly. So it's measure for measure. So he says. So now this becomes very dramatic, much more than the one the Torah describes. He says, I look at my goblet, right, and I see that goblet, the cup. He says, I see that you are spies. And they say, no, we are honest, we're not spies. He says, why did you not go through one gate? You went through 10 gates. They said, our father told us not to go through one gate. Right? This is already the iconic Jewish quality. We're afraid of being exposed to the goyim. So, do it secretly. Nobody should know that you have 10 children. Nobody should know that you have money or anything like that. So go. And why did you go to the red light district? What are you doing there? We were looking for something that we lost. He says, what did you lose? It looks suspicious. He says, I already could see through the goblet, through the gavia, that two of you destroyed the whole city, the city of Shechem. So they said, who are you talking about? He says, you and you, Shimon veLevi. So they realize that he knows so much about them. They say, as a matter of fact, we are 12 brothers. One is missing, and the youngest is with our father today. So now let's go back 1 second to the pasuk. The Midrash tries to answer the question, why did they divulge this information? They were not asked for it. Why do they have to say? If they say, he accuses them, you're spies, right? You act suspiciously. They say, no, we're 10 brothers, we have big families and we need food. Why do they have to say, we have 2 other brothers? One disappeared and one is with our father. So the Midrash answers, he already interrogated them and he showed them that he knows so much about them, so they say, we'd better say the truth before he extracts it from us. But the pshat of the pasuk is completely different. They were haunted by what they did. They never let it go. I mean, and we spoke about it before. They never told Yaakov the truth, and of course they never had a chance to apologize. So for 20 years, they go around with this heavy burden of, we deceived our father, and they see them on a regular basis. He is in mourning. He never recovered until he met Yosef. He's always crying. He's always mourning. And they feel that he accuses them, that he suspects that this is what they did. So all they want, all their life now, is dictated by, we lost Yosef. We lost Yosef, and our father doesn't trust us with Binyamin. Right? And when we say that Binyamin, Yaakov would not let Binyamin go with them, because he's the younger brother, and he might suffer. How old was Binyamin? He had to be at least 25 or 30 years old, and he could have been even older, because he comes to Egypt with 10 children. So he should have been 30, 35. He's not a kid anymore. Yet Yaakov says he's not going to go with you. So they're always right. All their life is, you know how when we make a mistake, a fatal mistake, or even not fatal but tragic mistake, and we always say that my whole life is now different because of that. So they can. It's sort of like the Freudian slip. They can't help but tell him when he says, "Who are you? We're brothers. We have 2 other brothers, but one is gone." Why are you saying that? They have to. They can't just control themselves. But according to the Midrash, he pulled it out of them by telling them all these details. And now this becomes a confrontation between the brothers and Yosef. He says he takes Shimon and he imprisons him. And
why Shimon?
Because so we don't know why Shimon. It seems like this is in the Tanakh, in the Torah, it's a flashback. Maybe Shimon was instrumental in. The Torah doesn't say who did what, right? So maybe Yosef takes Shimon because Shimon was the most active in the attempt to kill him, and it would make sense because you have the brothers, the sons of Yaakov, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. So Reuven, we know that Reuven tried to go back to the pit and to save. It says that he went to check on Yosef. Yehuda negotiated not killing him but just throwing him into the pit. Shimon and Levi don't speak there, but we know that from their previous encounter with us is that they went and killed the whole city of Shechem. So they have this sort of violent streak. So it's possible that they were the ones who wanted to kill him. So and since they are mentioned as a couple, Shimon and Levi, maybe they were very close together. So it's more painful for them when Yosef takes one of them and imprisons them. Now, according to the Midrash, Yosef sends a request to Paro. I need the soldiers to imprison those people, or to imprison Shimon. But when they come to him, he shouts at them, "Kevan shekarvu es hatzavah alehem Shimon, kevan shesham'u kol naflu al pneihem v'nishtabru shineihem." It was so powerful that they fell to the ground and broke their teeth. And the only one who could subdue Shimon was Menashe ben Yosef. And he's the one who took over him and put him in jail. And they said, Amar Shimon le'Ahav, Atem omrim makah shel Mitzrayim hi zo eina ela shel bet Ava. It's impossible. This man is so strong. He must come from our family. And again, I'm saying this is midrashic. What the midrash is trying to convey here, this is part of the agenda of the midrash. It's not saying agenda in a negative way. The goal of the midrash to uplift people's spirit, to say, because in diaspora they are always of the idea that we are weak, we are always under the heel of the Romans, and instead we have this might that comes from the house of Yosef that eventually we are going to reclaim. So Yosef symbolizes this physical prowess. So they go back to Paro and to Yaakov, and they tell him the story, and he says, "But where is Shimon?" They say he's being held by Yosef. So when that happens, they need to go back and bring food. Reuven bargains with his father. This is in the Torah. He says, "Let me take Yosef with me." Binyamin, because when I bring Binyamin to Egypt, Shimon will be released. Reuven, the father says, "No, I don't trust you." Again, he doesn't trust them. He says, "Maybe you are the ones." He doesn't say it. Maybe you are the ones who killed Yosef. So Reuven offers a deal. He says, "Et shenei banai tamit im lo avienu elecha." If I don't bring Binyamin back, you could kill both my sons. Amar lo bechor shoteh. You're a fool. V'chi banecha enam banai. Your children are my children also. What am I going to gain by killing your children? So eventually, Yehuda comes and says, "Avay kasher kilu le'echol." When they finished all their food, they needed the food right away. Yehuda says, in the Torah, Yehuda says, "Im lo avienu elecha v'yitzaktiv lefanecha v'chatati le'avi kol hayamim." If I don't bring him back, I will be forever indebted to you, as meaning I will be considered a transgressor, that I offended you. And Yaakov says, "Okay, let him go with you." So now it's very difficult to understand what is the difference between Reuven's argument and Yehuda's argument. Reuven says, "Kill both my sons." Yehuda says, "I will be a sinner if I don't bring him back." It seems even less convincing, right? So one might say it's because they ran out of food. And this is what the Midrash says. "Amar lo Yehuda Abba, im yelech Binyamin imanu, safek nitpas, safek eno nitpas. Im eno eloch imanu, kulanu metim, mutav shetaniach et hasafek, v'titpos et havadai." He says, "Dad, I know it's hard for you to let go of Binyamin, but if you don't send him with us, we're all going to die. At least if he goes with us, some of us will survive." So he says, and who will be the guarantor? He says, "I will be the guarantor." So no questions, he sends it with Yehuda to show that he has trust with Yehuda. So this is what the Midrash says, that there was this kind of logical negotiation. I think that the pshat is different, and it's it's deep in the sense of the way we look at promises and commitments to each other. Why did Yaakov not go with Reuven's offer, and did accept Yehuda's offer? Because when Reuven said, "Kill both my sons if I don't bring him back," it meant that he accepts a possibility of failure. He says, something might go wrong and he doesn't come back. In that case, kill my children, and then we're even. No, he wanted I might fail, and if I fail, I owe you, and you take it, that's it. So the emphasis is not on what is the payment, these children are not. The emphasis is on I might fail. When Yehuda says, if I don't bring him back, that will be an eternal shame for me, like an eternal sin. What Yehuda is actually telling Yaakov, I cannot accept the possibility of failure. There's no fallback, there's no plan B. For Reuven, there's a plan B. And we see it eventually when Binyamin is captured and accused by Yosef that he's the thief. Reuven doesn't step forward. Because if this would have happened, Reuven said, "Okay, you know what? Tough luck, I'll go back and I'm going to lose my children." Yehuda says, "No, my commitment was that I must." So he steps forward and he argues with Yosef. So this is the difference between what Reuven offers and what Yehuda offers. But all together, when we look at this whole exchange between Yosef and the brothers, and we'll see later on the second encounter even more, that was a wonderful opportunity for the Midrash to embellish the story.